Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Pi here with Orangebird. And that's you.
It's a me, Tiki.
And this is the first podcast for the Celestial Dreamin Imagineering competition. Woo! Hope y'all have fun so far. Boots and cats and all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. We're gonna have a fun time. Tonight's gonna be a cast assessment. Also, kind of going through, looking at the first project, the Project Zero, and having fun with it. And we already have
So
someone.
I totally enjoyed myself. I totally enjoyed myself during Project Zero Pi. I had no stress at all. It was just totally like a clear skies, like, no overly committing myself to more than I could handle, no crash out.
Yeah. That was a vibe for everyone, I think.
You know
Don't
what?
worry, anyone watching. The rest of the rounds are going to be a lot simpler.
I'm just going to say right up top, my whole thing where I literally told you, like, when we met up in December, I was like, he, I'm going to do the, like, Russell Hantz thing where I'm going to come on and be the heel. After that crash out, I just can't. I can't. Like, I am a grown-ass man. I am not going to go around and be like, you all suck. Ha, 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 ha. Like, it's not my
That
vibe.
was a really fun bit, but also now I fully understand.
I am literally going to change my avatar to Tim Robinson in the hot dog suit.
Perfect.
Because that's
just have a different Tim Robinson character in every round.
Ooh, I should do that. Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Spoiler alerts for season 3, Tim Robinson Dreamin.
Just no.
Obi's just shaking their head because of how much they've hated every single, I think you leave now sketch I've shown them.
Oh, man. Well, Tim Robinson is kind of like the basis for my stand-up right now, at least one of the big influences. So, I don't know.
Nice.
Anyways. All right, so Pi, why don't you set up what this contest is and then also what the Project Zero prompt was.
Sounds good. And Lord Fosnader, we will get to 4 seasons, even if it's just me going around with puppets. Doing Imagineering with myself. It's okay. Like Dan Harmon's done with the Community movie, I think. Anyways, this is Celestial Dreaming, Season 2 of Citrus Dreaming. It's an armchair Imagineering competition on the WDWMagic Imagineering forums. This Project Zero was a way to warm up and have something over the holidays to do. It wasn't required, but a lot of people really took to it and realized, like, no, I have so many ideas I want to do. I have so much passion for this. I'm gonna go all out.
If only you hadn't done the prompt, that should have been the prompt of the final project. Just saying.
Yeah. I had gone back and forth on whether I want this to end the game or start the game. I got ideas for the end, though. I think you're gonna like it. Unless you're
I'm just gonna say up front, if I ever we're talking about possibly doing some sort of like revival thing for So You Want to Be an Imagineer, just gonna drop that little nugget. Not sure exactly what that's gonna look like yet. The first project is gonna be like a damn drinking fountain or something, man. Like, I am going back to basics with that.
Oh, you're still gonna get a 100-page Google Doc, you know it. I will personally ensure that.
Yeah,
30 seasons sounds reasonable, B.
Like, I ended So You Want to Be an Imagineer at 20.
There we go. So we gotta get to 21 seasons. So I'm just gonna do a new. Each round is gonna be a new season.
Mm-hmm.
That actually be a really fun idea. Anyways, so Project Zero. This was the re-epic voyage.
Literally, every round would have like a winner.
Yeah, and then you just are like, okay, sign up now if you want to keep playing.
Or like you eliminate people as the brainstorming's going on. Like, you haven't contributed enough to the brainstorming. You're out.
Yeah. Oh,
Actually, that would be a really interesting way to do it. Like, do like a whole season where it's like one big open brainstorming thing, and it's less about the final project and more about like who's contributing the most to the brainstorming. I don't know.
like the knockout tours in Mario Kart
Yeah,
World,
yeah,
where if you're at
exactly,
the
exactly.
bottom, yeah, that could really work. Not for like a long game, but for like a 2-3 week game, that could be really interesting.
Or maybe even like an over the weekend type game, honestly.
Yeah. All right. New podcast. Scrap everything. We're developing a new Imagineering competition together. Anyways.
Did you really think we'd be able to get through this and not do tangents?
Oh, of course not. We're lucky if we do something that's not a tangent.
Right.
Anyways, Project Zero was a re-epic adventure. The idea was to do Epic Universe, but again, Celestial Park stays the same, but all 4 of the portals has to be redone with a new land, but that land has to fill the same niche. So something based on a video game to replace Mario, but you can't use Nintendo. Something based on a darker, more mature theme to replace Dark Universe, but you can't use Universal Monsters. A sequel land to something Universal has done before to replace Harry Potter, but you can't use Harry Potter. And a kids land to a family land to replace How to Train Your Dragon, but you can't use How to Train Your Dragon. But you can't use DreamWorks. I can't remember which one I went with there. I think I just cut out How to Train Your Dragon. Point is, same niche.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because like the big contender besides Toon Lagoon was the Shrek area. So yeah, DreamWorks is definitely on the table.
Yeah, that makes sense. I went back and forth with exactly what to count as the niche and what to count as the IP. I had like 8 different versions of this first project.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Foz, of course you have to pay to drink. Gotta make that money somehow. Also, hello to Wandering Mudkip and Sunshine Smilify. I don't know who you are, but it's always great to have people.
Yeah, if anyone's like joining us in the comments who hasn't been on the podcast, who hasn't been in the chat of the podcast before, yeah, identifying yourself would be nice if you are a player.
Yeah.
Obviously, like not like your real name or anything, just like, hey, I'm this person on the forums.
Yeah, just like give us your social security number.
I know, right?
Because
I realized when I said identifying yourself, I realized that sounded kind of sus.
Well, hi, Disney Warrior.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But the point is, this gave people the chance to kind of divide it into smaller projects, so you don't have to walk on the whole park. You just have to walk on one land, and it wound up being, I think we had 19 people technically involved, but a few people who either weren't involved the whole time or were busy of the holidays and didn't really do much beyond the occasional comment. So it wound up being about 3 to 4 people on every land, and then Architectural Guinea Pig kind of overseeing, helping out where needed, and making the map.
So I love that, like, if we're looking at this from like a pure like winner edit perspective, AGP won season 1, and already the dude is like clearly the MVP of the whole cast in Project 1 of season 2.
It's the detail on that map is so insane.
I'm coming for you, AGP. I'm the greatest armchair Imagineer of all time.
There's
I'm going to
somehow
kind of hit an immunity idle and idle you out of the game.
Yeah, if you click on the right link in the WDW forums, you get hit an immunity idol. It's buried somewhere in news and rumors.
Seriously coordinate like in one of these giant fucking Google Docs to have like a hidden immunity idol somewhere. Seriously. Oh man.
I mean, I can edit things while you guys are working on it. I literally could do that.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Oh God, Lord Foz really just put it out there. I beat AGP and Vision's fantastic, and here's hoping I'll beat him again. So AGP, I love how AGP. It's like he's like I'm just gonna help everyone and it's just like target. We got a target over here.
ATP is definitely one of those people where like I'm gonna just like give him a tranquilizer and be like, no, you need to rest for one round before you explode.
Oh my god. Where was my tranquilizer dart pie? It could have helped.
It was in the mail. It should be coming. It got delayed due to storms.
All right. So, do you want my perspective on the brainstorm, like the early days of the brainstorming here before we broke up?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so this was a really fun prompt, just as far as like it's pretty much limitless as far as what you can do. But I do like the fact that you put the one restriction of having it's got to be kind of like in the spirit of what the different lands that they're replacing are. And so I found that to be a really interesting challenge. Let's see. I mean, as far as like some of the other stuff that I pitched, I don't really remember much of what I was pitching. Like I was very committed to Jurassic Canyon. That was my passion project. That was my baby. Probably too much so, just given my crash out. But
It was a really good idea, though.
well,
And like
I'm excited.
execution wound up really good.
Yeah, but I think I'm just trying to highlight some of the ideas that didn't quite make it off the ground. I did really, I was really interested in like, I thought it was really interesting that we had like both Bikini Bottom and like far, far away a Shrek land, like those were both kind of like on the table as far as like the kids land. And I thought it was really interesting that even in the first few days, throughout the first few days, I kind of changed my mind. At first I was Shrek, and then I was like, I don't know, Bikini Bottom might work. And then we had that whole thing of like, okay, like if they do the cartoon thing, is that going to be like a spiritual successor to Cartoon Lagoon, or does it count as the family thing? So there were some logistics to work out. I think the only other concept that I would have liked to have seen get played out, the one that I really am kind of like, I mean, I do think they did a really good job on Blade Runner, don't get me wrong. I really like the idea of doing like the Stephen King land, but then also incorporating stuff like, like a Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria and like a Stranger Things experience, like into the fabric of a main Stephen King land.
The 80s suburban set horror was a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
It would have been really intriguing to see. Blade Runner was also really interesting to me, though. So those were also in my mind the two I was like torn between.
So let's get into it.
We get to see that.
For sure. God, did I really close out the hold on. So what?
Oh, I was gonna just kind of talk while you were getting that set up.
Go ahead.
It was interesting seeing with the niches, is like Foz was saying here, they didn't really care about the kids' land. There was ideals for it, but the kids' land was definitely the one that was more the afterthought, and the sequel land that I thought was going to be like the hardest for people to come up with ideals with was the one that had the two hard-fought ideals for it, with Cartoon Lagoon and Jurassic Canyon. And I think transitioning Cartoon Lagoon into less being Toon Lagoon 2 and just a general cartoon land was a really clever way to kind of do that same niche twice, but also still fill the fourth spot.
Sure. I am very glad that we did not go with the idea that was kind of floated around of like, hey, let's just have a land that's like, it's got like Jaws and it's got Back to the Future and it's got King Kong. I'm like, no, please, let's not do that. That goes against everything that Epic Universe stands for as a park. With all due respect to people that were pitching that idea.
It's the type of thing that I feel could have been made to work. That would have been a tougher sell to be an immersive environment with all those scattered themes.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't even know how you would do it.
And just as a foreshadow of Project 2, it's kind of like how you're like, hey, And granted, don't get me wrong, I know you explained it. I know that you kind of like cleared the air on some of the confusion there. But when I first read the prompt, I was like, okay, so we're supposed to design a land in a literature-based park that's not based on any pre-existing property. Like, I know you
Yeah.
cleared it up. I know I was misreading the actual, restrictions, but
But I can see how that, as a first impression, could have seemed a lot more limiting.
Mhm. Okay, well, I've got the 4 lands. I've got them in a randomizer.
Ooh, always fun.
Let's do it. Okay, the order that we're going to do it is number 1, Minecraft Kingdom. Number 2, Cartoon Lagoon. Number 3, Jurassic Canyon. And we're going to end on Los Angeles 2049.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so Minecraft Kingdom. Honestly, I straight up think this was the most complete land out of the whole batch.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Mm.
I don't. It's tough to say most complete because I feel like all of them have their own strengths and weaknesses in that regard. But definitely feels like I can just picture everything. It does everything you could do with the IP almost.
And I am not a big Minecraft guy. Like I kind of feel like generationally there's a cutoff. Like there's the people that grew up with Roller Coaster Tycoon. I am in that camp. And then right at the cutoff, then there's people that grew up with Minecraft. And it's like the people that were into Roller Coaster Tycoon probably aren't that into Minecraft. The people that are into Minecraft probably not all that into Roller Coaster Tycoon. So, but
I was also Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I did very much very ironically enjoy the movie. I watched the movie when I was sick and I straight up had a fever high and I went nuts for the fucking chicken jockey scene. When the chicken jockey scene came on, I was like, "Oh, let's go. It's the meme."
That sounds like the way to view it. It's like if there's an Avatar movie, you see it in 3D if possible. If there's a Minecraft movie, you see it while delirious with a fever if possible.
It was beautiful. It was legitimately
Yeah.
like the perfect viewing experience for that particular movie. Yes. Which,
Next time
by
I
the
have a
way,
fever, I'll have to watch the movie.
I still really wish that they used just chicken jockey as the portal quote. I
See,
think they
that's
could have
kind
gone
of
away with it.
interesting. Yeah, I would have let them just for the joke of it. But they had a really big, like, in-depth discussion about whether or not anything from the movie should be included timeline-wise, and were like more dedicated to the realism than the memes. So the only movies are a few promotional tie-ins.
Oh, okay.
And my experience with Minecraft, and this will come up in some of the reviews, was on the base version of the PlayStation 3,
Oh
never
man.
connected to the internet.
Oh
So it
god.
was, I mean, it never updated. I was really into it for a while, but anything newer than like the Never, I think was the newest thing,
Uh-huh.
is probably over my head. So there's a few times where I'm reading this where I'm like, boy, these awards. Let me see if I can
I
translate.
think I know enough about Minecraft just through pop culture osmosis. I've
Yeah,
certainly watched some, some Matt Pat videos about Minecraft and shit like that, so like but yeah,
exactly.
okay, Lord Foz is just coming in like fire and strays right now. Minecraft is boring as hell in my opinion. Like
He heard that you weren't going to be the heel anymore, so he's taken up that spot.
apparently, I mean, granted, I can see him doing that. He does fit that role quite well, honestly.
But no, I can see Minecraft being boring to some people. It's a nice chilled game when I played it.
It's kind of like it's got that Animal Crossing flavor to it. You kind of just vibe with it, but you can be creative
Yeah.
with it. It's
Oh
got
yeah.
kind of like a day-night cycle, like Animal Crossing has.
Mhm. And
Um,
while I feel like I missed out on a few of the specifics, everything in there is very uniquely Minecraft, but also not so weird or out of place that you can't just pick it up from context clues. It's very
I can
accessible.
totally picture it. That's the thing. I honestly think out of all the lands here, this might be the one that's the most realistic as far as like if Universal did not get the Nintendo rights and they wanted to do a video game land.
And Bubsy was taken.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, can you please do a Bubsy prompt? I
Yeah,
grew up
all
on
the rest.
Bubsy, okay? I grew up on those original Super Nintendo games.
There you go. That's season 4's Bubsy Dreaming.
I honestly think Bubsy Bobcat would fit right in with the mascots. Oh.
Oh yeah. But no, this land, like you said, it feels both realistic in terms of realism and realistic in terms of the way they set it up to feel like a place you could visit.
Uh-huh. I really like the fact that like even the portal is designed in like a Minecraft texture brick style. Like I can totally picture that in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Pi, I do want to talk about like you and I like we did talk a little bit about Epic Universe in my trip report, but just generally speaking, let's get it out there again just to set a baseline of like my favorite part of Epic Universe is Celestial Park. I think the design of Celestial Park is just it's absolutely ingenious. I mean, all the portals are great. Don't get me wrong. There's not a portal
Oh yeah.
that falls flat at all, but I think Celestial Park, it just like this from the fact that the storytelling ties everything together, all the kinetic energy, but most importantly, Pi, I mean, it blows me like because people say there's a lot of walking in Epic, and yeah, there is. But that being said, the walks from portal to portal are not bad at all, just because of how Celestial Park is designed, and there's all these different like
Oh
paths
yeah.
and shortcuts that you can take. Like if you want to get like from Potter or Burke to Monsters or Nintendo, you just basically cross right down that main middle, like in between the carousel and the fountain. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
very
easy.
accessible.
Yeah, yeah. So I just want to point that out, just because I also love the idea of like the different little thematic elements bleeding out into Celestial Park. So like you know you have that Mario fountain outside of the Nintendo world, and you've got kind of like the spooky atmosphere right outside of Dark Universe. I really, really like that touch, and that's one thing I definitely tried to incorporate into Jurassic Canyon, and I definitely think they did a good job with Minecraft as well. I think everyone did a good job with it. I think the portals are
Yeah.
one of those things at Epic that you really have to nail. Like I'm truly passionate about the design philosophy of Epic Universe. I truly think it's a game changer for theme park design.
Yeah. Like we talked about, I think there's definitely some pros and cons, but at least for it being in this park, it works so well
Mm-hmm.
that it just feels so unique when you're there. It feels like a new thing.
Totally, totally.
And yeah, no, the teams took great advantage of it, especially like you said, Minecraft and Jurassic Canyon.
Mm-hmm. All right. So as far as let's go through the cast assessment. Can you run down who worked on Minecraft and who worked on what?
So for Minecraft, we have half cartoon, half human, Eden Rodriguez, T Cool, and Lizzie Maybe.
Okay.
I believe that was everyone on Minecraft when I was making my notes. If anyone did anything on Minecraft and I missed you or you know them, please let me know. Like in the comments. But I believe that was everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then in general, I know AGP jumped between a few of the lands doing miscellaneous here, there, touch ups to flow together. So there could have been stuff in AGP here, but the only thing he was outright credited with for any land was the layout for Jurassic Canyon.
Sure, sure.
So I think everything else
Which
was
was a
small.
pivotal, like he came in clutch with that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Aiden Rodriguez actually. Because this guy, I think he's the dark horse of the whole cast.
Oh yeah, he's probably the person I know the least about, and
Uh huh.
I don't know how many other games they've really been in, other than very briefly the Foz games.
Right.
But no, they came out swinging, and they fit right in with the heavy hitters.
Yeah, I definitely think that just from what I saw of the attraction that he did, I was really impressed. I genuinely thought it was one of the strongest standalone attractions out of anything in the whole park.
Yeah, it's Journey of the Overworld. It was the boat ride taking you through the Minecraft biomes for anyone watching along at home. It's very peaceful. It does a good bit of everything, and I like how grounded the write up feels. And you miss out a lot in
Mhm.
Imagineering write ups where people go really big on here's all the fun ideals. And it's like, yeah, that's really cool. And I'll meet you halfway and just kind of figure out how it works practically. But this one you saw it every step of the way of no, and this is the part of the animatronic, this is part of the screen, this is the realistic gag that we would have here
Right,
that would
right,
actually be in
right.
a theme park ride.
So just as far as pure pros, I really think this guy's gonna be a formidable person in the cast for sure.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. And you said Foz was in this team?
Yes.
Or no, I'm sorry. No,
No, not Foz.
Foz was with me, obviously. I'm sorry, Foz. I should have known.
No, Foz came up because Aiden was in the Foz games. I played with him in that one.
Oh, right.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
we also had T Cool did the Minecraft mobs, the shooter duck ride, the one that was like Toy Story Mania, Mob
Okay. Okay.
Raiders,
Yeah.
which is such a fun idea to complement the very peaceful boat ride to have the chaotic shooter duck ride.
And I like that it's kind of like the peaceful boat ride it's basically this land's equivalent to Yoshi. It's a little bit more large scale than what Yoshi would be. But
Yeah,
I think the T Cool ride though, it's a pretty easy like one for one swap out with Mario Kart as far as like being a chaotic
yeah.
shooter ride.
It sounds maybe slightly smaller scale, just in like the physical size of it.
But that's
But then
appropriate
also
because
you
the
have the
Yoshi thing
Yoshi
is
being slightly
bigger
physically
scale.
bigger.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
it does remind me of Storybook Land, which, by the way, Storybook Land and Casey Jr. probably like that's like a 1-2 punch. It did like those two rides plus Mr. Lincoln are the things at Disneyland that when I'm in Magic Kingdom I miss. And I'm just like, it's good that Disneyland has that because Magic Kingdom has like the heavy hitters. Like they've got the People Mover, Carousel of Progress, Country Bear. So it's like, all right, Disneyland can hold on to some things that I still really like.
Yeah. They're fantastic, nice, like small ride.
Mm-hmm.
Like small ride, not in a bad way, small ride in exactly what I want them to be kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah. Those firework rides on Casey Jr., man.
That sounds great. I
Oh,
still miss
yeah.
back when Dumbo was in his original spot doing them during Wishes.
Mm-hmm.
Magical. But yeah, no, the Mob Dock ride was really great. Obi did want me to mention that the spider bad boo spider, but that's more of a personal thing than a review thing. There was one or two of the monsters that I wouldn't have minded having photos for that I didn't recognize, but for the most part, I might not know exactly what an evoker looks like, but I can just hear the name and be like, okay, yeah, evil wizard, got it.
Right, right, right.
Spider with a sad face.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, it's really fun. And then we had the not a ride, but half cartoon, half human did the interactive pickaxe. Oh, the evoker evokes things. Thank you, B. But yeah, no, the pickaxe interactive game going throughout, which I think was really fun idea, and I like that seeing it in the brainstorming. It didn't evolve from what can we do with a new version of power bands. It evolved with yeah, but we want to have mining.
But I think that's good because I think it is different from the power bands, and you know, and the power
Exactly.
bands are different from the wands. And I think I honestly I think it's cool that they are kind of diversifying the kind of interactive elements. And you know, with something like the wands, I am never going to fucking buy a wand because that's a bridge too far. Is like I don't even feel comfortable buying butterbeer in those lands, you know, for
Same.
obvious reasons.
Like
Like
yeah,
I can participate in the rides, I can go on the attractions. I don't feel guilty there just because like talented people worked on those things. I do not
Yeah,
feel
but the
comfortable.
buying
Like,
things, that's
yeah.
another level.
So I will never get a Potter wand. Never. That's never going to be a thing that happens. That being
Yeah.
said, I can still enjoy
Mhm.
walking around the land and seeing other people use the wands, you know. I'm just not going to
Yeah, seeing like
participate.
everything pop up.
Uh-huh.
Pickaxe with a smiley face. And is that a hand? And something else on it. But no, the pickaxe is a really good, like, different way to do it while still very similar.
I
Oh, and the
do.
names on the pickaxes. That was the cool detail that Obi
That was
wanted
a
to
cool
point out, is
detail,
having the
yeah, for
names on
sure.
them, customizing them.
I will say though, I do think it's a little bit cumbersome, like as far as like with the wand, you could just put it in the box and be good to go. The power band is honestly like a really good fidget device for me. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's a really good fidget thing when I'm in the parks and just kind of like need something to do with my hands. I just keep stretching it out and popping it back in. I don't know about the
That plays
pickaxe.
it.
I think the pickaxe would be a little bit tricky to just kind of like carry around throughout the park.
Yeah, and I don't know what the solution would be because at the same time, yeah, what else would I want? I want that pickaxe. If you're
Mhm,
doing it,
mhm.
you gotta do it.
Maybe have like free pickaxe storage where it's kind of like a coat check where
Hmm.
when you're leaving the land, you can just like check it with somebody, and then like when you're leaving the park, just pick it up on your way out.
That really could work. That'd be really interesting.
Especially because with the names, it would be really easy to like monitor whose is whose.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
No, I would
Anything
like
else
that.
about anything else about Minecraft?
Oh, right, we have one more person's Lizzie may be the Into the Nether family coaster.
Right. Okay. This again, I think it's really cool how it mirrors like this is obviously the Donkey Kong stand-in, and I think out of all the lands, this is like the one that's like a very obvious like one for one of like everything in this, even the design of the land up, like the layered experiences, like the fact that it's all kind of like, it's got this big like reveal and immersive kinetic energy. It's got the interactive
Yeah.
elements. Uh, big ass, but big, and it's impossible to carry. So my
You
one
need
thing
three
with
people,
this,
you lift it like this.
right? I do think that this did kind of veer into the territory that you were talking about, where I think the actual elements of the write up were maybe a little bit too ambitious for what this coaster actually was, if that makes sense. Like, I
Yes,
like
which
the
I don't think
coaster
is
itself.
necessarily a problem, but when it sold itself initially as a family coaster, I feel like family coaster could have been less, whereas
Mm.
this, like all the dark ride elements, is just screaming to be more. I want you to just go all out if this is what you're doing.
Like, I like the coaster elements. I just think that like I really I don't know, it's kind of funny because I don't think that Donkey Kong is like built to be the headliner of Nintendo World, but just because of the way that the attraction capacity is just crap, it's obviously like the most in demand thing in Nintendo World. But like, I do think that with
Yeah.
Nintendo World, the big draw should be and was designed to be Mario Kart, with Donkey Kong is kind of like a supporting thing. And so, with that in mind, I do think that there's a little bit of a disconnect where it's like this does feel like maybe just a little bit too ambitious as far as the actual like scale of it. But I still think it's good, and I do think the coaster elements are pulled together pretty well.
I get what you mean. I don't know if I fully agree that's too big. I think for me, I either want it to be bigger or I want it to be smaller.
Hmm.
I think it could have gone either way. But like you said, what is here, well, there's questions about the scale, is really well done and well executed.
Sure,
I
sure.
love the constant kinetic energy, even throughout the queue, all the redstone and stuff moving.
Definitely. Okay, you want to move on then?
Yeah, I think we're good to move on. Anything else from you, Obi? No, we're good to go. Next up, you said Cartoonia.
Yeah, Cartoonia.
There we
All right,
go.
I do think that this land is the one that kind of I definitely think there's some good stuff in here. I just think that it it basically was exactly what I was concerned that it would be, which is essentially just like, okay, you're spreading yourself too thin as far as the actual like IPs are concerned, and that's exactly what I was afraid of when they were pitching this. I was like, I think we should just like make it a full SpongeBob land, or just make it a full Hanna-Barbera land, or Shrek, or whatever. I think the individual components here are good. I just think that the actual flow is a little bit rough, if that makes sense.
Portal. Because I don't think they went in what the portal was on it.
That's also true. Yeah.
But no, I get what you mean on that, and I agree. But also for what this round was as a warm-up round, I'm happy they used it to just have not dumping ground. That's not the right word because that sounds more negative. Because I do think it still flows not as well as it would have if it was only one or two things, but it still does have a flow. But this was the okay, everyone do the thing you're having fun with, and we're just gonna have fun with it. But also, I do agree that would have definitely been better as a project if it was focused on one or two instead of all of them.
Sure. As far as the portal goes, I don't necessarily know what the actual design of the portal would have looked like, but I do think that if it had the SpongeBob theme, I really like the idea of having the actual the slogan of the portal just be, "Are you ready, kids?"
Oh yeah, that would have been so fun.
I don't know. I just think I just think that would be really fitting. I think that'd be a really cool build up.
That was a great Portal quote.
Uh-huh.
Coming up with Portal quotes for Epic Universe lands that don't exist is such a fun pastime.
It is. It really is. I do enjoy it. Yeah.
This could just be a podcast one time where we get a list of all existing theme park lands and make up a Portal quote.
Oh, I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that.
Yeah. Anyways, for this land, it was Disney Warrior, Walt Wiz, Brea Panther, and Mr. Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, who do I have on here first? Or what was first? I have Brea Panther listed first here with the Scooby-Doo, Krusty Krab, and Bargain Mart. So a lot of the supplementary stuff for SpongeBob, as well as the Scooby-Doo ride. Like, I think the Scooby-Doo ride was just like perfect for a Scooby-Doo ride. Like the gags, even as silly as they could be, and the meta ending, I think they really captured Scooby-Doo, but also kind of blending both the more modern meta subversive era with the more classic era. And it was also really nice seeing Brea Panther go all in on writing, because a lot of times they rely heavily
right
on
off the
art.
bat for sure. Yeah. Brea Panther definitely like relies on the art a lot, and it's but if you remember Brea Panther, they did make a really, really good noble attempt at So You Want to Be an Imagineer. Like they got relatively deep into that game the last time they played. So so
far, and it's great seeing them showcase the skills that like 2-3 years ago was not what they were known for, and now they've developed it to the point where they can stand on that.
Totally. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see that kind of development for sure. All right. I got to be honest with you with the cartoon stuff. Like it was just a lot to read. I kind of skimmed this land the most out of any of the lands, so I apologize for that. But just from what I saw of the Scooby-Doo coaster, it definitely looked like a lot of detail, a lot of a lot of different kind of variety of show scenes and stuff. So yeah, it definitely looks like promising for sure for what Brea Panther can bring to the table this season.
It was very, me, if there's something with jokes and comedy, I'm there for it. That was probably the most comedic ride of the project. Then Disney Warrior did the Chipmunk stuff, as well as walked on the Acme Warehouse with Walt Wiz. The Chipmunk stuff I thought was a really fun little addition, having the show to it. And I think there's also ice cream shop next to the show. it felt slightly out of pace with the flow of the other things. I feel like Looney Tunes either branching off to the slapstick of the Krusty Krab or to the old school cartoon vibe of Scooby Doo, but then having Alvin the Chipmunks doesn't feel like the transition between the two. But also,
Sure.
it's just kind of like a supplementary thing that supports the rest of the land, and having the show adds to that variety. And I mean, Alvin the Chipmunks animatronic show is such a fun idea. It's perfect.
It
Same
is.
thing
It
kind
is.
of writes itself.
For sure. For sure. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here?
Then there was also with Walt Wiz and Disney Warrior worked together on the Acme Playground, which was Looney Tunes Playground. A lot of fun. Such a great idea to have a playground in an Acme Gag Factory. And then
You
the
know what,
SpongeBob
though?
stuff. Oh, go for it.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call something here. I don't know if this was like actually intentional, but like this is actually very similar, albeit much larger scale and more ambitious. But they have Acme factories where like you can like interact, like play with the foam balls and shoot the foam balls out of cannons and stuff, go down slides. Like those are basically in every Looney Tune area of Six Flags parks.
Oh, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but this definitely is a more all in on it. But no, I think
Definitely.
a good Six
I'm just
Flags
saying,
really is.
like, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
if you think that you can get away with that being a completely original idea,
do it.
that's all I'm
Have fun with
saying. like I'm on to you.
it. No, see, that's my knowledge of Six Flags is so small. I feel like people could pitch to me the exact Superman coaster that's in the Texas Six Flags, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's neat. Good idea."
Right, right.
You're right. There should be a Justice League shooter dark ride. Let's do it.
Oh God. That Justice League shooter dark ride is okay. It's better than what I would expect from a Six Flags ride, but it is
Yep.
basically not anything compared to pretty much any other theme park chain, if that makes sense.
It was a good first step towards being a real theme park, and then they never took a second step.
Yep. Yeah, basically, yes. All right.
But last in this land is the SpongeBob stuff. I mentioned briefly Brer Panthers doing the store and the Krusty Krab. Both feel like really good fan service stuffed experiences while not quite overdoing it. I want to take a quick moment to shout out the menu for the Krusty Krab. I feel like there was a lot of really clever inclusions there. I also want to quickly call out in the Bargain Mart cartons of drinkable sausage that specifies a smoothie that is not sausage flavored, as that would be disgusting. But
Oh my
then
God.
doesn't say what it's a smoothie. What is the drinkable sausage? Brer Panther, please respond. I'm really worried.
The boating
But no,
ride,
they
I
were
actually,
really well done.
yeah, I
Go
thought
for
the
it.
boat ride was really well done. I like, you know what I liked about the boat ride is that this is another example of like they did keep it realistic. I liked how it was mostly
Yeah.
static figures with a few like simple animatronics. Like I like that. Not, and I honestly kind of fall
Yeah.
prey to this a little bit too, where it's like everything's got to be an animatronic. I actually had this discussion with you, Pi, where it's like I think I might be the world's first and foremost like defender of Curse of the Werewolf. I genuinely really, really like Curse of the Werewolf. And those
Yeah.
werewolves on the ride do not need to be animatronics. Like you
No,
go
they
by
work
them so
well how they
fast.
are.
Yeah, you go by them so fast and visually they're already startling enough. Like, yeah. So I do
Mhm.
like that inclusion, just as far as like the detail goes.
Oh, yeah. And that was Mr. Sullivan on the ride. Great job with it. Another potential dark horse, I feel, is a not that this is their first game, but they're not one of the most like veteran has won a bunch of games, and I feel like they're gonna sneak up and kind of not be seen as a huge threat. Then suddenly they're the finalist.
I mean, low key, I do think that Mr. Sullivan has been rising in the ranks over the last couple years, though. I do think that he has kind of put in the works to become one of those more key figures in teams. So yeah, I mean, it definitely wouldn't surprise me if he makes a deep run here.
Oh yeah.
Can I make one note about the shopping in the SpongeBob land?
Yeah, go for it.
Huge missed opportunity that they didn't have a place that sold canned bread.
Oh, was that not on the list there?
Is it tell me if it
Yes.
is.
It wasn't. I
They
think my
have
brain
it
just kind of
canned bread.
I think my brain just kind of assumed it did because there's all these other tiny Easter eggs and references that still felt realistic.
Canned bread
Maybe
is
the
genuinely one
drinkable
of my
sausage
favorite.
is not sausage, is actually canned bread.
Oh, maybe. Canned bread is genuinely one of my favorite gags in any SpongeBob episode. I think it's so
So
funny.
good. No
All
one
right.
could ever think of a perfect lame food to get excited about than canned bread.
Okay, so Jurassic Canyon. This was my passion project. I want to know just baseline what you think of the idea, what you think of the rock work, what you think of like the timeline of like setting it like pretty concretely right between Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. Like I want to know it all. I'm very curious what your thoughts are on this.
I really enjoyed the concept. I think it I admittedly have not seen the third Jurassic World movie or the most recent one. But seeing the end of the second Jurassic World and seeing the dinosaurs go out into the world, that got me excited because, like, oh, there's so much you can do with that idea. And
Uh-huh.
from what I've heard, they just didn't. And I love
No, they
seeing this
didn't.
land that takes advantage of it. And I think this is such a creative way to take on the idea of a sequel land where I really just kind of assumed with this one it was going to be choosing an IP and doing more with it. Like the idea someone had of more X-Men focused Marvel land, like that would have been really cool. Or like they did in real life of just another Potter land with more Harry Potter stuff. Or I thought Jurassic Park that was one of the ones I thought people would do, and I figured, well, they'll just turn like Velocicos to be Jurassic Park themed to make the new land Jurassic World, and that works well enough, I'm sure. Whatever.
No, I
I'm
was
sure people will
very
come up with something fun here.
from the
But
get-go,
this
I
was
was
such a
very
neat.
determined to be like, nah, man, like we've seen it done so many times where it's like, hey, it's the Jurassic theme park that you're in. And it's just like, I mean, I
Yeah.
think for the time that was really cool. Like when the actual theme park land of Islands of Adventure, like it was a really cool concept. It fit in really well with the park. They did do the real building really well, where it's like, okay, no, this does genuinely feel like what a
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park in Florida would feel like. Um, that being said, I feel like that's just like literally all they do with Jurassic. And like you said, conceptually, like both as far as like what they do with the concept of the dinosaurs, like don't get me started. They totally waste it. They totally botch it. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
even like there's one short film that they released in between the second movie and third movie called The Battle at Big Rock. It's like 10 minutes long, and that is the thing that I was inspired by, not any of the actual movies. Like that was
Yeah.
like that gives you a taste of like what Jurassic it on the mainland can really be like.
And despite how unique and a new angle this is that I wish they had gone with, you did a good job grounding it in the franchise, tying everything to a different character. I feel like that really
Mhm.
did add to it too. That still
Mhm.
felt realistic, as new as it felt.
I'm curious what you think of me using Bryce Canyon as a real world location.
I admittedly had a little bit of mixed feelings on that one because I feel like that comes with a lot of its own challenges, especially with it being in Florida. I think that works. I've never been to Bryce Canyon. I don't think I ever would be. But I know we're going to have a lot of visitors from California who are going to be now comparing it directly to the real Bryce Canyon. And I feel like that is a high bar to set for yourself. but also the way you grounded it in like smaller details.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it immerses in this separate world enough that it kind of does add to it instead of taking away from it. I think I personally still would have rather just inspired by Bryce Canyon, but also I see how that does just adds a new angle to it and adds to the dinosaurs in the real world when it is specifically the real world.
Because I went to Bryce Canyon when I was in Las Vegas. I did like a tour through Bryce Canyon and Zion. It was like a day trip sort of thing. And we stopped at Bryce Canyon for maybe 3 hours, and it was genuinely a transcendent experience for me. Like I
I'm
need
sure.
to go back. I need to go back and hike that. Like I have no ambition to hike Zion. Zion is fucking huge. Like I literally compare Bryce Canyon and Zion, where Bryce Canyon is the Disneyland and Zion is Walt Disney World. You know, as far as like scale goes, like you cannot see all of Zion in one trip. It's very easy to see all of Bryce Canyon in one trip.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I liked, what appealed to me about working with Bryce Canyon, as opposed to like something like the Grand Canyon, because obviously the Grand Canyon is going to be a lot more iconic, and that, I mean, that's really going to pull in like comparisons, you know. But the thing about Bryce Canyon that fascinates me is that it's beautiful. It's larger than life. Like it literally, you get to the vista. It doesn't, like, my first impression of it was like, this doesn't even look real. It's so sweeping, but it's still relatively self-contained when it comes to being a national park. You know, you've got the outer rim trail, and then you've just got all the trails that go down into the actual canyon part. Like, you could probably hike most of the actual trails if you were there, like, you know, like sunset to sun up. Like, it would probably take a whole day, but I'm sure you probably could do it. It's very doable. So that's what appealed to me about setting it within Bryce Canyon. Also, just as a theme park nerd, it is very much the place that inspired Big Thunder Mountain. You can absolutely see that when you're there. I guarantee you, if you know, like when you are there, it's just like, oh, yeah, this is just like one big giant Thunder Mountain.
Yeah. And I feel like you capture that self-contained, but not in a way that feels limiting really well with the land and the different levels and all the vistas. I feel like that is such a unique layout, the way it's set up, and just even looking at the map and how it circles back in on itself. What you're describing from Bryce Canyon, I feel like you captured here.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll get into my two rides. So I, as you know, Pi, basically the thing that made me crash out was I had this whole queue written out, and I had like whole dialogues between Ian Malcolm and Lewis Dotson. I had this whole idea that like it was going to be like a showroom, and like Dotson was showing off like all these different like he was basically like rolling out the concept of T-Rex transport is like, you know, like a new venture for Biosyn. And I had the whole gag in my head, and I hope that when you, because I know that it didn't make it into the actual queue because someone else took over the queue, but I hope that when you were reading the project that you did see my note of that Dotson was specifically pitching the transportation to be a roller coaster, because who doesn't want to ride a roller coaster to work? Am I right, guys? Corporate fucking boomer dad talk.
That was a really fun idea. I wish I could have seen the whole thing.
It explains like in universe. Oh.
There was one question about the T-Rex transport that Obi had.
Okay.
There was no T-Rex.
Well, I mean,
was that something lost in there?
There was a T-Rex that was right, like if you read the actual land write-up, there is a T-Rex that's right by the entrance to the ride.
So, got it. So, is that the entrance of the ride? Is like the weenie into it?
Yes, exactly.
There we go. Oh, I see that now. Well, I must have just missed that. I'll not connect that to the ride in my head, but now I'm bringing it up.
And also, just as a coaster nerd, I will say that Rocky Mountain Construction does have a T-Rex model where it's basically like
Hmm.
a much larger version of their Raptor, where it's like a single rail. And apparently that thing can do like giga coaster stats. Like apparently that thing can go like 300 plus feet tall. So obviously I decided to just do like an RMC hybrid coaster because nobody fucking knows what a T-Rex is even going to look like when they build one. It's
Yeah.
kind of been like a little bit of a white whale in the theme park industry for a while now. Like, who's going to get the first T-Rex? We've got a
Yeah.
T-Rex. That that should totally be like a Universal Park should totally like open with a Jurassic Park and be like, and the world's first T-Rex coaster, and then just cut to that clip. We have a T-Rex.
It'll be a lot of fun. This is why
As
we need a
always, I
next
think that I
Disney
did a
CEO
really
to
good
be a
job
Michael
on the
Eisner.
yeah. I think I did a really good job on the coaster layout. The coaster layout, by and large, is very, very, very inspired by Iron Rattler in Six Flags Fiesta Texas, because
Hmm.
that is also an RMC coaster that uses the terrain to its advantage. The first drop is a big drop off the quarry, and then the whole thing where you go up back up onto the wall and then do some turns and then have like a steep drop, that's lifted straight from the Iron Rattler layout. I just kind of like expanded it a little bit. The stall over the bridge is very much a Velocicoaster inspired moment.
Such a good moment. No, you
Can we
did
just
great.
like,
We go for it.
you know, Velocicoaster is so much better than Stardust Racers. I'm sorry. I
No,
keep
I
saying
agree.
that. I'm like, because I keep seeing people that try and argue differently, and I'm just like, you're objectively wrong. You are objectively wrong. Like
Yeah.
I did a marathon of Velocicoaster like 7, 8 times in a row during the Orlando Informer meetups, and like it was just nirvana, man. It was just absolute nirvana. And I could do like Stardust Racers is almost a little too intense, honestly, for me to do full blown marathons on it. That's part of the problem. Like the launch genuinely hurts my back.
It's a lot. And I've
Yeah.
only ridden it once, so I can't say fully. It's a lot. And like you said, I feel like I would have liked it more if it was scaled back slightly. Not that I ever thought I would say Velocicoaster would be the scaled back coaster.
But I mean, just as far as elements goes, I think Velocicoaster just has, because Stardust is basically just like, hey kids, you like airtime? And it's like, yes, I do. I do like airtime, but I also like
Yeah,
other elements. And Velocicoaster has some world class elements. Like you do not, there is literally nothing like the Mosasaurus roll anywhere else on the planet.
it's incredible. And your coaster would also be a really like fitting follow-up to that.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. It's we've talked about this before. One of my biggest weaknesses with like armchair imagineering stuff is that a lot of times when I start reading coaster element write-ups, my brain is just like, and yes, this is a roller coaster. Yay. Uh but the way you do write it, it gets the point across even to me as someone who doesn't know roller coaster stuff. Most of what I know about RMCs have come from projects I've read by you or Tegan.
Right, right.
uh, it gets it across. It communicates it in a way that is still accessible, and it was nice. This would be a really great addition to the land.
Cool.
I
Glad
like
you
that it
enjoyed.
wasn't overcomplicated because there's a lot of temptation in these kind of projects to be like, and here's a 18th show scene for this roller coaster. No, you keep it simple. You have your setup, you have your environment, a little scene at the end. Other
Literally,
than
the
that, it's a
only
coaster.
thematic element I had was that, like the Velociraptor versus the Stegosaurus or whatever
Yeah,
in the final Helix.
exactly. And I think that's what makes Velocicoaster work so well. Is that storytelling is in the coaster itself, its layout, not through show
Mhm.
scenes.
Which that is another. I mean, there's not really a lot that they could have done with Stardust as far as like the sight lines, but Man, when you launch up and the first thing you see when you crest the top of that top hat is the fucking sewage center. It's man, I mean, compare that to the top hat on Velocicoaster, where you're just like, holy shit, I see the whole fucking park. There's the Hulk, and there's Hogwarts, and there's Seuss Landing up off in the distance. Like, oh my god. Compare that, and then it's just like, oh, it's a water treatment facility. Yay. No, and I'm
Ooh.
sorry, but as much as I love Epic Universe with all my heart, that sewage plant is definitely like the most problematic element of the park for sure. Because, like, as magical as that night was when the park got rained out and I basically had the park to myself, oh, you better believe the sewage smell was there with all that rain going on.
Ooh.
You better believe it. I tuned it
So now I
out.
need to see in the rain to see if I smelled the sewage. I'm curious.
Oh, you will. I can practically guarantee that you will. Okay.
There we go.
What do you think of Project DNA?
Oh, I really liked it. It's
Big props to Outbound for writing that queue, man, because I was so stuck on what to do with the queue. I had such major writer's block.
yeah, no, it came together really well. It's not anything too crazy, but also does add to it and adds to the immersion without being anything insane. It's really well done. I love the Star Destroyer moment they have with the elevator.
That was surprising to me that he was able to work something like that in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Project
Mm-hmm.
DNA, the name, and specifically the DNA part being do not assume.
Wait, can I guess?
Yes.
The season of Big Brother where they did clues throughout
Yep.
to
Yep.
get a secret code, and the answer was DNA. Do not assume.
Yep. You got it. I'm genuinely impressed that you got that. That's exactly
I
where it
remember
came
that was back when
from.
I used to watch that show, and I remember thinking that was the coolest thing because it's strict like 4 or 5 weeks of secret clues and hints.
Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly where Project DNA, the name came from. But no,
Nice.
honestly, the idea of the Justice Smith character being kind of like not even like he's borderline an antagonist in this ride because he's basically like intentionally endangering the guests in order to to get the proof that InGen is doing some shady shit. Or I'm sorry, that
Mm.
Biosyn is doing something shady. And I really like I'm genuinely pretty proud because Justice Smith, he's an actor like after I saw the TV Glow, I kind of look at him in a different light, like especially that light if you've seen that movie the last like
Oh
10
yeah,
minutes
no, he's
or so is
fantastic.
absolutely devastating performance. Up until
Hmm.
that movie though, I kind of thought he was pretty like he's easily the worst part of the Detective Pikachu movie. He's like he's okay in Dungeons and Dragons, but he's definitely not the strongest part of that movie.
I don't know if
So
I'd agree with either of those statements, and based on Obi's face, I don't think they agree with either of those statements either. But fair enough. I will say that while I wouldn't say he was the weakest part, that's not like the performance where you watch someone like, oh yeah, they're gonna be the new best actor.
right, right. So with that in mind though, I thought he was relatively underused in the two Jurassic movies that he was in, but I do
I
think it's
forgot
really
he was in more than one.
interesting. He his role in Dominion is very small from what I remember.
Oh yeah.
It's basically the extent of like when Tim and Lex come on at the beginning of Jurassic The Lost World and they're just like, "Hey, we technically still exist."
Got it. But no, he
um
really has proven himself to be a great actor. And I feel like you said, having be more kind of morally gray as your
mhm.
host for this ride is an interesting use of him. I feel like he pulled that
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, I really like that. Obviously, the first part of the attraction was inspired. It's very much kind of like a combination of uh Radiator Springs Racers with like the Sunday Drive element, and then mix that with like the start of Jurassic Park River Adventure.
No,
I think the big element that go ahead.
I was gonna say it's interesting because most of the elements, like you said, are either taken from or inspired by different rides, but in a way that doesn't feel unoriginal. It feels like almost like here's these highlights, but in a new way. And I think that's a good
that's
angle to go
honestly
with
how
it.
I designed this ride. Totally. Because you have the Mosasaurus, where I genuinely do like, if you've been to the one in Hollywood, the Mosasaurus scene plays way better in person than it does in a video, because the scale of that room and the screen and like the effect of the water coming over the edge, like it really does sell the effect. I think it sells the effect really, really well. But we've never actually seen a full-blown Mosasaurus animatronic before. And so I really like the idea that it's almost kind of like a fake, like for theme park nerds, they go in and they're like, oh, okay, this is just the the Jurassic the Jurassic World Mosasaurus scene from Hollywood. I've seen this before. I know what this is. And then they go up the ramp and it's like, oh shit, no, it's like an actual like full scale Mosasaurus animatronic. Like that is the moment that I'm really proud of.
Yeah, I think that's a really fun. Psych, we did do it.
And then the Stampede, I really like the idea of that. Was kind of like one of the cornerstones of the whole attraction for me. That's kind of like the basis for where I kind of did most of the other work with the attraction, is the idea of like, instead of one giant dinosaur chasing you, it's like a big herd of smaller dinosaurs chasing you. I think it could work. I think it'd be really, really cool. I like the idea that it's not even carnivores, it's herbivores, but because they're dinosaurs, it's still a very dangerous scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was really good. It's a very show scene kind of setup, but in a way that walks and flows well because of the story and because of the nature of what these scenes are. I think it would have that rising action and excitement, and I think the vibe flowing is more important than a continual story where a character is narrating, oh, we gotta go to here, now we gotta go to here. No, the vibes keep getting more and more dangerous and building, and that's what sells the ride to me.
All
and
right,
yeah, no, herbivores will mess you up. Also, we are well past it now, but I don't believe any Universal restaurant does sell cereal, except I think the Today Cafe had cereal grab and go. I could be wrong about that, though.
Well, I know for a fact that
way too much baking jam.
All the hotel food courts probably have grab and go cereal, so there's that.
There you go. But you can't get cereal at Universal. You just have to take a bus to a hotel and come back.
Right.
Just sneak into Helios, the hotel, and then come back into Epic Universe.
Oh man, dude, my mom and I, we were so tempted to go into Helios just to see it and maybe get a drink at the rooftop bar, but we didn't know for sure if we could take a bus from the front of Helios back to Epic Universe, or if we'd have to go like all the way to the City Walk.
I think you would have to go to City Walk and back.
Really? Okay, then I'm glad we didn't do that then. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to promise anything, but I think it's the same thing as like Epcot. If you wind up by the Skyliner entrance,
right,
and then the park closes, you have to bus all the way around from like one hotel to another.
Well, no, actually, it wasn't even. It wouldn't have been like when the park was closed. It would have been kind of like a middle of the day sort of thing.
Yeah, but you still, I think you still would have had to walk through the park though to do it. I don't think there would have been a bus.
I'm glad we didn't do that.
Yeah.
And also, from what I've heard, Helios is kind of underwhelming on the inside.
I've heard it's good as long as you haven't built it up too much. Like, people are expecting this to be the new best hotel in Florida, and it's one of the better hotels in Florida, but also I haven't seen it myself. This is just what I've heard from other people. One of the better hotels in Florida, but if you go in expecting it to be the new standout best hotel, you're gonna be let down a bit.
Sure. Anyways. Okay, so just really quick, I need to shout out AGP because not only did they design a really kick-ass map, but they did exactly what I needed them to do as far as like doing just enough detail to really get across the exploratory element of this land and the fact that like we have the the different dinosaurs. Like I want there to be as much kinetic energy with the different dinosaurs in this land, if not more so than there is in Isle of Burke with the dragons. One thing is that I don't think this made it into the actual write-up, but I do like the idea of the canyon being the portal. Like just the hill, like the portal kind of being like a grassy hill in Celestial Park that transitions into the canyon. I do like that idea. And I'm pretty sure
another note is I don't think the portal actually did make it into the write-up. I remember you mentioning that. Now you're saying it, I do remember that being mentioned in the brainstorming.
And I also pitched the idea of a T-Rex animatronic being like out in the open, like in Celestial Park, which I think would have been really cool. And also
that might have been crossing the line of the portal a little much, considering the portal is supposed to like contain the land, but also
but I like the idea though that I like the idea that sometimes different elements of the portal kind of bleed out a little bit into Celestial Park. I mean, if that isn't a canon thing, then how do you explain like the Mario fountain and the gift shop with the Zelda stained glass windows and stuff, Like I think canonically portals can bleed out into Celestial Park. I think canonically the Mario
I would like to see that explored more. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities with Celestial Park. And who knows, maybe we'll figure out some of those opportunities later on in the competition. Also, I don't know who did it, but I'm assuming AGP, but also I see Dunlap mentioned doing this. But the intro does go over a few additions to Celestial Park, like a Captain Cacao dark ride and a flat ride and some transport attractions. I think it would have been really fun.
I will say I'm going to push back on the transportation just because, as I already kind of laid out, the actual layout of Celestial Park is so perfect that you're not going to be walking very far from portal to portal anyways. And honestly, I think having a
people mover.
I understand that, but I almost kind of think that the infrastructure that would be needed for something like that would potentially mess with the sight lines. That's all I worry about.
I can see where you're coming from. I don't think I agree, but I definitely see where you're coming from.
I just don't think like I said, I just think Celestial Park is laid out in such a perfect way that maybe if anything, I could totally see a portal to portal transportation system that's kind of like in the back of the park, if that makes sense.
That would be better. Some kind of transport so you don't have to go all the way through from one corner to the other.
Exactly.
I would like that. Anyways, I just wanted to give that a quick shout out while we were mentioning Celestial Park.
Also, the portal quote for Jurassic Canyon would obviously be "Life finds a way." I mean, I think that's a given.
Yeah, but no, AGP did a great job, like you said, capturing the exploratory nature you were pitching. AGP and Outbound kind of slotted in to do a lot of the miscellaneous stuff, especially after Tegan unfortunately had to drop the competition. And Tegan was the other person doing support for this land, so it wound up being very much Fosnada had their ride that they did. They did a great job on it. We haven't gotten to it yet, but really well done Tower Terra style dark ride. Not dark ride, drop tower. But other than that, it was mostly you and Tegan, and then when Tegan dropped, it was mostly you, and AGP and Outbound were able to slot in there and just click right away with the vision you had for this and add to it with their own flair, with it feeling very consistent. Totally. It was great seeing that teamwork happen.
Definitely. And like, just to address the crash out a little bit, because I know I said some pretty like bullshit self-deprecating things that day. it literally was just the frustration of like me writing up such a detailed, and I had like the humor in there too with the backstory of the T-Rex coaster, and for all that to get lost, it was devastating. It genuinely was, and I've had those moments before. It was genuinely like it sucked, and it really did kind of like. And also, can I tell you a story about why Sunday was a fucking wash for me as far as like productivity?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, story time here. It wouldn't be a celestial dreaming, a citrus dreaming podcast without a little bit of a tangent. Okay, so I, as you know, have been kind of exploring the stand-up comedy thing over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually my year anniversary this month doing it, which I'm very proud of. So I found an arcade a couple towns over from me that has a comedy open mic, and it's not exactly very well attended, but I really like the people that go there just from the couple of times I've went so far. So I'm just going to pretty much go just for the community of it all. Anyways, I wanted to see if I could find more, because one of my New Year's resolutions is just to be more social, put myself into more social ecosystems and stuff like that, which I already feel like I did a lot of in 2025 just by going to the open mic stuff. And I feel like in 2025, I did a good job of identifying like, okay, like this venue is not really my fit. This venue is definitely my fit, you know? And I want to keep going with that. And I don't want everything that I do to be related to comedy. I want to kind of diversify a little bit. So I saw that this arcade, and I'm not going to name the arcade because I don't want to burn bridges here. I saw that they had a pinball league on the first Sunday of every month. And I only bring this up because literally, Pi, if this did not happen to me, I would have had a whole fucking day that I could have been like actually working on this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually going to read off the description for this stupid pinball league. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Okay. Meet from 2 to 5 p.m. for social time. Play pinball, talk pinball, learn more about the game, and take part in organized events. League meets the first Sunday of every month. We are still growing this league, and slots are still available. We will cap it at 24 people this season. First meeting is free, but if you wish to join, dues are $25 per season. So I get there. About an hour early. I like to get there an hour early for the open mics too, because the way the arcade works is that you pay like a base fee and you get like all the machines are on free play mode. And I like being, I like to support the venue, and like I don't drink, so I can't really do that at other open mics I do, because really one of the only Foz, we will get to your ride, I promise you. I'm sorry. Because like that's one of the only things that you can do to support the venue at other open mic places is getting a drink. And if I'm like in a social setting, like for example, I'll get a drink at karaoke, but if I'm performing, no, I can't.
Yeah.
That is absolutely a no-go. I'm not going to have a drink. I'm not going to vape at all. I'm not like, I'm very straight edged when it comes to like what I want my mind to be like when I am in performing mode. So anyways, so I show up an hour early, and when 2:00 rolls around, a guy walks in. He's like twice my age, which is fine. He's wearing a pinball hat and a pinball shirt. And I'm like, okay, that must be the guy. He walks over to another guy, and they just kind of start shooting the shit. Absolutely no acknowledgement. Like, and it's not like there's nobody there. Like, it's a pretty full house, because it's like, it's like a weekend. There's a lot of people there. I'm just sitting there at a table, like awkwardly trying to make eye contact with this guy. And literally all that these two people are doing, and it's like, I assume that because the pinball shirt, the pinball hat, I assume it's the guy, right? Like, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
right. literally all they start doing is going around from arcade cabinet to arcade cabinet and start nitpicking to the owner about the conditions. I'm just like, bro, like, I usually when I go to the open mic and I'm like the only person there for a couple hours, that's all the arcade owner does is go around and like check shit out with the arcade cabinets. Like, he knows, I guarantee you, he explicitly knows every little thing that is wrong with every cabinet in that building, my guy. So yeah. I'm just saying, the fact that this just really, it's a real hang up with me, Pi. The fact that there was no communication at all. No, like, hey guys, anyone here for the pinball league? And even if there was no communication, there was no pinball happening. There was no discussion happening. There was no event. There was no playing pinball. What the actual fuck? I wasted a whole day, okay? Because it's an hour bus ride there. It's an hour bus ride back. I wasted a couple hours being there. That's why the
pinball league is just this guy's excuse to wear his hat.
Right. No, okay, low key, the fact that it's on the website and the fact that they're like suggesting that they pay, like, what the fuck am I going to pay for on that equation, dude? Seriously, I am asking you. I am genuinely curious. God. Okay, so that is why I crashed out as hard as I did, because like
I can get it.
Like, I genuinely wasted a whole fucking day, and I also had. It's not like, you know, I had open mic the next night, and I had movie memoirs the night that the project was due, which is like a 3-hour investment for me every time I do that. It just got to the point where I was signed up for too much, and I had such a bad writer's block with the queues. I had no idea what to do with the queue for Project DNA. Outbound absolutely saved my ass there. I knew exactly what I wanted to do for the queue for T-Rex Transport.
Delete it.
Yeah. So that's where the crash out happened. I want to assure everyone who did see that, like, I am fine. I'm continuing forward. I'm good. I'm going to make it a point to not override myself, because my schedule is way more packed than it has ever been any other time that I have tried to play a game like this. So
if it weren't for the fact that pinball league every week now,
I know, just awkwardly stand over their shoulder.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but no, I get it. And that's for everyone. Like, if you are getting busy with real life, of things starting to burn out, it's okay to take it easy for a few rounds. Whatever you need to do.
LEP says, like
B, I agree with you that I like to think that he wears a pinball outfit at all times, but consider this. He has different outfits that are just as specific for everything he does. He wakes up in the morning, he puts on my eat a bowl of cereal hat, puts on his driving to work hat. At his job, no hat. But after the job, he puts on my one year after work hat. And it goes for his pinball hat.
All right. Can we just make it a point to make Pinball Guy a running joke?
Yeah. That would be season 5, Pinball Guy Dreaming.
Oh my god. Oh, and I genuinely hope that the arcade I'm talking about does not see this. Although, granted, like I said, I don't, like, I'm genuinely curious how the owner even let those fuckers post the event on their website. I genuinely have no idea why that's a thing.
Who knows?
Anyways.
But
no, if it weren't for the fact that I was very confident and passionate about the Jurassic Canyon idea, and also the fact that it was relatively close as far as like people that wanted to do Jurassic Canyon versus people that wanted to do something like Back to the Future. It was probably one of the closer votes as far as like between. So because of that, I did feel more obligated to perform than I probably would have if I was just doing an attraction for a land that someone else had the idea for, and I'm sure you can relate to that, right?
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
So, yeah. So and going forward, I definitely just don't want to, if I like, it's going to be hard if I do just run into a position where I do have a passion project idea and it happens to get locked in. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right, but anyways, let's talk about the drop tower, because frankly, I think that this is like literally exactly what I was picturing in my head when I pitched it. And I think Foz just did a perfect job with it. I really think he just
Oh, he
completely
nailed it.
nailed the concept I was going for.
100%. He got, not that there was an element of this, but this one really captures the horror vibes of like early Jurassic Park so well. Like there's one or two things where I could like nitpick and be like, oh, that seems a bit big in scale for what could realistically be done budget wise, or oh, Mosasaur was using the other eye, maybe should have been a different dinosaur here, yada yada, nitpicky stuff. But like I said, it's nitpicky stuff. The actual ride's fantastic, and
I tried
Foz
to
has
make
such
a point that the Mosasaur was just going to be in my attraction. So I'm frankly a little annoyed that it both showed up in this and then also showed up in the land, like in the lake. Like I'm like, okay, maybe
but
the
also that
Mosasaur is
is kind of like
awesome,
the dinosaur for Jurassic World, so
that's
I
true.
feel like it kind of works.
No, you're right. You're right. I can sign off on that.
But yeah, no, it Lord Fozzinator has really, just gonna call him Foz because that name is a funny one to say out loud. But no, Foz is so good at tonal writing. Like he captures the vibe of everything he writes.
Yeah, yeah. I like to think that Foz is basically just like Fozzie Bear cosplaying as the Fawns.
Yeah, he does
For
the
the
same
kids
like
out
term
there,
like
that's Henry Winkler
gag,
and
but I don't
Happy
know what it's
Days. Fonzie.
yeah,
Because all the kids know who Fonzie is.
yeah. There
Citing
was
Fonzie
even
doesn't make me an old man. You wrote a different dinosaur than the
other
Mosasaur?
relevant. Oh, weird. Yeah, because it has Mosasaur slowly rise up from the water.
Yeah, I could have sworn.
Yeah, no, it's in the write up. I have it up right here. Weird. I wonder if there's some editing or switching that happened. I don't know. That's odd. But either way, even if it is the same Mosasaur, it turned out really good.
Uh-huh.
Ride was really well done.
Alrighty.
And I don't have a ton to say about it, but the Ruby's Inn was a really fun pool and a fun idea for the counter service dining.
Ruby's Inn is like a very iconic part of Bryce Canyon, as far as like it's like the lodge that you stay at if you go to Bryce Canyon. So yeah, I really wanted to include it somewhere. Honestly, when it comes to lands like this, dining is my Achilles heel, dude. Like I used to be way more into theme park dining than I currently am. I think one of my problems with theme park dining now is the fact that it's become so, the culture of theme park dining has become so centered on like festivals and stuff. And because of that, you don't get the consistency that you used to. You know, it's much more about like rotating different seasonal items in and out. And
Yeah.
that, I mean, it's cool for like the AP people, but like for me, where it's just like I have my go-tos at Disneyland that I've had since literally I was a teenager. You know what I mean?
I want my
Like
reliable favorites. Just give me my reliable
the
favorites.
bagel barbecue skewers and the pasta at the Plaza Inn, baby.
Yep.
Anyways, those bagel barbecue skewers, though, those are my go-to at Disneyland. Absolutely. Okay, so
Nice.
let's talk Los Angeles 2045.
Yep. Don't hate me for this. I have not seen Blade Runner 2049. I have seen the original, and I've seen it a couple times. Great movie. a little dry, but in like a good way. Like it would be a worse movie if it was more exciting, if that makes sense. But even not knowing it, it's cyberpunk. You know that cyberpunk trope? Blade Runner made it. So like I get it, even if I don't get all the details sometimes.
Yeah, Blade Runner. I'm going to be honest with you. I straight up do not like the original Blade Runner. I do think it's too dry. It bores me to death every time I watch it. I'm sorry. Just straight up objectively, that is my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, subjectively, I guess objectively that opinion would be subjective. But
it's objective that it's your opinion.
Right. No, but
it lends itself so well to a theme park.
This is the land that I'm the most mixed on. I'm not going to lie. I have a hard time visualizing a completely all indoors portal. And that's probably one of the things that I'm sort of struggling with. I honestly think a better approach to the design of this land would be essentially like a bigger version of what they do with the Ministry of Magic, where I think there should at least be some sort of outdoor component to it just to have the transition, you know?
It would be really loved it being inside. So I like having the both sides there. I was more on the I like it being inside also. I feel like you say you have trouble seeing it as a portal, but I feel like that's what makes it work. Is because that's something you can do with a portal, but you can't do with any other land. Is that transition to inside so smoothly?
Sure. I mean, that makes sense. I guess maybe for me, it's just, I think one of the issues I have with it is the fact that it's replacing Darkmoor. And I think Darkmoor thrives on being an outdoor land, obviously, especially at night. But even during the day, you've got like the atmosphere, you've got the, the street performers out and about, which granted, you could still do that in an indoor environment. But I just think the fact that it is outdoors, it makes the whole thing feel a little bit more lived in. I think the fact that, like, if you look at the other three lands, you've got Minecraft, which, as we already established, very much the most one for one. And then you have like Jurassic Canyon. My whole design philosophy for Jurassic Canyon was basically like, I want the rock work to be as big of scale as the buildings are in Wizarding Paris. Like, I want to emulate the scale of that land just in a naturalistic sort of way. And then I didn't get too big of a picture of what the Cartoonia land would have been design-wise, but I do think that it fits with what Burke is, at least as far as like the attractions. This is like literally the one portal in the park that really goes against the grain as far as like the design philosophy, which isn't a bad thing. I want to just emphasize that. Like, it's like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, you should just totally color within the lines all the time. I'm just saying, for me personally, like, I also, Blade Runner 2049 is a beautiful movie. It's engaging in the theater. It's so slow, and I never want to rewatch it.
That's very fair.
I saw it twice in theaters.
That's why I haven't watched it, because I was worried about that being the vibe.
I saw it twice in theaters. Very cool theatrical experiences that I never want to rewatch. It's objectively, for me, a better movie than the original Blade Runner. Like, I have pretty much no doubt about that. I wish that Jared Leto was not involved with that movie, but whatever.
That's any movie with Jared Leto, though.
I know. That's ironically, I genuinely think Tron Legacy or Tron Ares was one of his better performances. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's so sad.
Like, I joke about it, but it is specifically because I can buy him as an artificial intelligence program who does not know how to be human, but he's trying. Like, I buy that for him, that he's living his truth.
Very,
I've done
very
both
fair.
stand-up bits on that concept.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But
Also,
no, for the Blade Runner land, I get where you're coming from, and I do understand. I just think for me, part of what I loved about Darkmoor is that had this like almost oppressive feel where like the darkness, the monsters, whatever was all around you.
mhm.
And I feel like having this be indoors where you have the flying car overhead going on the track and
Sure,
the
that was a cool touch,
way
by
it
the way.
felt oppressive, to me that did capture that vibe.
Sure. I feel that.
But also, either way, just as a cyberpunk land, I think this was a fun idea to do it indoors. Though with any time you do it indoor land, you run into some issues.
Mhm.
It's always a
Also,
mixed bag.
obviously, this team was a little bit. I think the reasons why Peregrine kind of felt the need to step aside, I like he said them in various threads, but I don't want to get. It's very much a personal issue, but
Yeah,
it's very understandable that he would need some time to decompress. Very understandable. But I do think
exactly.
that because of that, it did put the team at a little bit of a disadvantage because he was the one that was kind of like captaining the ship there. So
Mhm.
I do think that because of that, there was a little bit of a disconnect as far as like the vision of what it was.
It would have been really interesting to see how it would have come about if this happened on a different week where he was able to be more involved. But
So let's
for how it
sorry.
happened, the fact that it turned out as good as it did, especially when Space and Priest both said they didn't really know about it, and Outbound is saying here gradually has come to like Blade Runner 1 and hasn't mentioned 2049. The fact that the three of them were able to pull together and do something that, at least to my knowledge of it, captured Blade Runner really well was a really impressive feat.
Definitely. I do think that the main e-ticket, I really appreciate how ambitious it was. It very much broke the mold. He's Outbound says he's a big fan of 2049. That checks out. Like, I think
Yeah.
it's really impressive how it breaks the mold of like traditional attraction storytelling. It's really more about just kind of like immersing yourself in the atmosphere in a way that even goes above something like how like the old school dark rides like Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean do that. Like it's almost like kind of like
Yeah.
design philosophy wise, it's almost like an evolution of that concept. I do think that with the actual write up, it is in that kind of thing that we're talking about where it did get a little bit too ambitious in some spots.
A little bit. And like I'm torn on that because on one hand, that's what I was hoping to see with the idea of the more mature land is to have, like he even says in the write up, this is not going to be a ride for everyone. It's slower and very dialogue heavy and a thinker if that. But like it gave me what I wanted. I think it could have been scaled back just a tad bit and would have been slightly better. But I love the
Also,
ambition there.
let's be honest here. If someone like 5 years ago, when like we kind of knew that that Universal was looking into a monsters land, but we didn't really know what it was going to look like yet. If someone were to literally just do a write up that's like exactly beat by beat what Monsters Unchained actually fucking is, we'd be saying literally the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's way too many animatronics here. This is totally unrealistic.
Yeah. But no, this whether or not it's realistic, I'm not sure, but I love the ambition of what it sets out to do and be a more mature take on a theme park ride.
Totally.
I question the feasibility of the vote for a Flight of Passage Simpson style theater where the vote's going to be split between like 100 guests at a time. But also, I really just love the idea of having that vote where you're actually forcing the riders to engage on a thematic level, not just sit
And
back
I
and be
think it
passive.
I think the idea of a vote works better when it's more people as opposed to like in a ride vehicle with like 6 to 10 people, because I feel like in that situation it'd be a little bit contentious. But in a situation where it's like 100 people, it's like not any one individual vote is going to really dictate the result one way or another. You know what I mean? Like there won't be a
Yeah,
peer pressure angle in the way that there would be on something like a smaller setup, if that makes sense.
yeah. Like you have less control, but at the same time, you have less control.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But no,
Anything else? Because I do
uh,
think it's interesting that I do think generally speaking, the design philosophy of this land, it does take from Wizarding Paris, and in some ways where a big chunk of it is indoors. Obviously, Wizarding Paris is a lot more outdoors than this, obviously, but still, Wizarding Paris, like it's fair to say that at least a good half of what that land has to offer is just that one ride that is all indoors, including the Ministry of Magic area that people just hang out in. So with that in mind, I do think it's interesting how much this mirrors Ministry, where it's like the one tent pole ride, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't really have much else besides like some shopping and dining, right?
uh, there is the only other thing in the write up is the Electric Sheep, which is a restaurant and
Right.
bar, but also a bit elevated to be an interactive experience. I could almost argue it as an attraction.
Mm-hmm.
It does list on the map the Incinerator and Terminator 4D, and I'm not sure what those are. I
Yeah,
think those got
Terminator
dropped in
4D caught my eye. I'm like, what the hell? That would be an
I don't
interesting
remember
crossover.
that being mentioned, but I could be wrong. The Incinerator is listed in the layout overview page as a flat ride. Um, so I could have missed something in there in the brainstorming,
Outbound says, yeah,
or
I
that
have
could have
no
just been
idea where
something.
that came from.
Yeah, that might have just been something AGP was compiling things and was like, oh, there's going to be more here, but there's not. Let me just toss this in there to
Or it
round it
could just
out.
be a cheeky Easter egg.
Exactly. But for the actual write up, there's only the one main ride and then the Electric Sheep, which really want to take a second to shout out the secret menu you can only access if you prove that you are not a replicant by answering the riddle logic questions. That's so
Mhm.
good.
For
And
sure.
Obi want me to point out Space Mountain's really good like prose with his writing, which
Oh, yeah,
I
he's
mean,
always been good
it's
with
Space
that.
Mountain. There's a specific line in here if I can find it again. Uh, a really good line. Well, I'm just gonna say there was multiple good lines, and one of them was great.
Mhm. All right. So I think that's about it. One note that I will say, speaking of stuff that got mentioned in attraction layouts that actually got cut last minute, I had the whole idea of doing Pteranodon flyers, like doing a more large scale version of that.
How I remember
Which, I mean, okay, I know you've done Pteranodon flyers as a kid, right?
as like a young kid, but yeah,
Okay. Has Obi?
no,
No, I didn't think so. The thing with Pteranodon flyers is that when you look at it, it basically, like, you're expecting it to essentially be like, like an aerial monorail, practically. It's
yeah,
not that. It's not that, dude. That thing swings so fucking much. I am not even kidding when I say this. As a coaster enthusiast, okay, I genuinely think that besides maybe the actual Mosasaurus roll, which is terrifying, it will always be terrifying, and that's why I love
yeah.
it. Besides the Mosasaurus roll, I honestly think the swinging component of Pteranodon flyers is more intense than pretty much anything else on Velocicoaster. I'm not
uh,
even It's just because you feel the movement of it. It feels so like it's genuinely kind of freaky, and I was not expecting it. That's the thing. I was not expecting that thing to just like swing you like it does, you know?
Now I have to ride it. I have
Well,
to, like, if it's as thrilling.
yeah, I mean, if you do go to an Orlando Informer event, which I would strongly
Mhm.
recommend. Orlando Informer events were awesome. You can, do the lottery thing. Obviously, not a guarantee that you'll get it. I luck
Yeah.
the fuck out. I've seen some people where it's like they've gone to like 4 or 5 events and they haven't gotten it. So I did luck out there. But one thing I will say is that the view that you get of the Skull Island area at night from Pteranodon Flyers is legitimately like one of the coolest views in the whole park. Like
Nice.
that really caught me. Like I was like, oh my god, that looks so fucking cool. Like just like just the giant wall with the torches and stuff. Oh, so yeah.
That
I
sounds
wish I
pretty
had
cool.
time to do. And I do think that it would have fit in very well. I
Oh
just
yeah, with especially with the very scenic land.
yeah, I
And
just did
it's
not have
goes into what
time.
Outbound just commented too, that this was a different week. We could have done a lot more. And I think that's what was the story with a lot of people is people responded to this project so strong. They really had so much passion. And if I had known people were going to be so into this one, I would have loved to see this on like a week that not the holidays, more time.
The
And
final
I'm really
project,
excited to see.
perhaps.
I think you're gonna
Just
like the final
saying.
project when we get to it. I think you're gonna like it.
All
But no,
right, all right.
I am really just excited to see where we go from here. We have really great players. We have a really great team. We didn't really get to shout them out, but Tegan did have to drop out, as
Yeah,
well as C. Dunlap dropped down to guest judging. We also haven't seen Disneyman 1 yet, but the first round was optional participation. And then Ace Astro is the only other player we haven't talked about who was added in, and Joker's Wild, who was on vacation. So Ace
Mhm,
Astro
mhm.
and Joker's Wild, plus all the people we got to talk about today. We have a great cast here, and I just am so excited to see what y'all are going to be able to do now we're in the main game and going to start having more regular rounds.
And just generally speaking, y'all, I am so like it is nothing short of a small miracle that we are able to still host games like this on a legitimate fucking independent fan forum. Like
Yeah,
that is so rare, dude. Like if you
right?
host games like this, generally speaking, it's going to be through like Facebook or Discord or Reddit, and those communities they serve their purpose, but they are not nearly as tight knit and community focused as something like this is. And so just as my last like word to y'all, like I think we need to count our blessings that we're all still here, that the community is still growing. We have people like Aiden who have literally never played a full scale competition before, but they knocked it out of the park right off the bat. I'm super excited about the competition, and I'm excited about like where this is going. I mean, it's genuinely surreal. Like I have literally been doing these competitions for more than half of my life, I think, at this point. Yeah, I definitely think so. Because let's say I started at 15, that would mean half of my life would be 30. I'm 35 now. So yeah, over half of my
Yeah,
life has been these competitions, which is crazy.
and they're still going. Like,
Mhm.
not only is there a game going now, but a game finished not too long ago, and we already have to talk about what the
Which
next one's
Vision's
going to be.
Fantastic was a fantastic game. It genuinely
It
was
was.
like awesome. And it was
Oh, it was
really
so
great
much
to see
fun.
Peregrine like really stick to landing on a game because I really loved his concept for Manor of Mysteries, but that kind of just it was just bad timing with like the people like for some reason there was just a lot of people that were busy when that was going on, including myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really
It
happy
fell
to see
apart,
everyone.
not fell apart, but stumbled a bit due to things outside of possible control. And this was great to see. Take two, everything goes so smoothly.
Totally.
One of the best games I've seen on the forum.
And we are cooking up something for you know what? I'm just going to say it right now because we have these stupid fucking Doomsday teasers that I hate, by the way. I hate that it's just like, oh, we're just going to leak it. We're just going to leak it. And then like maybe in like a couple weeks after we leak it, we'll release it. It's just, ooh, I hate it. I genuinely hate it. But
give us your Doomsday teaser.
So you want to be, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to sign out. So is there anything else you all want to say before I do that?
Have fun on this next round. It's design a replacement for Lost Continent. It can involve an IP, but it can't be based on an IP because a lot of Universal lands, especially on the forums, tend to be just what's the single IP land we can do. So this kind of push people out of just doing that. And so far, I've been seeing a lot of the concepts. It's really good. Excited to see it. And if anyone has any questions, I know there's some confusion on how the prompt was worded, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be available as much as possible. Yay, excited, fun times. Orange Board, anything from you? Bye.
Nice. All right. And as a final post-credits teaser, I will just say this. Summer 2026. So You Want to Be an Imagineer will return.
Bum, bum, bum.